I have a tweet from Carl Benjamin because he had a great one. So we have the statement from the FBI on Twitter. They say, breaking. The FBI responds to the Twitter files claiming that their own leaked communications with Twitter are misinformation to discredit the agency. They said, it is unfortunate that conspiracy theorists and others are feeding the American public misinformation with the sole purpose of attempting to discredit the agency. Carl Benjamin of the Lotus Eaters podcast says, oh, I forgot that I was just a conspiracy theorist and the FBI didn't collude with Twitter to suppress the New York Post's Hunter Biden laptop story that I watched happen in real time and then read the files which show them discussing it. My lying eyes keep deceiving me. This is real life, okay? It's unraveling. We know they did it. We know they're doing it. We have the proof they did it, and they're just coming out and lying, saying they didn't do it.
It's buzzwords, misinformation, conspiracy. These buzzwords. I'm kind of getting fed up with these buzzwords.
The buzzwords. That's what they do. They throw in these words, this misinformation, these conspiracy theorists, just to try to cover their own asses and not do anything about it because they know they're wrong and they know they're in the wrong.
But I love how Luke often brings this up too, that conspiracy theorist was a phrase created. I think Tucker talked about this, that the phrase first emerged in the corporate media around, was it JFK?
JFK, yep.
And now the FBI is using it to discredit legitimate emails from Twitter leaked by the CEO of Twitter to a variety of reporters showing the FBI not only were they instructing or giving guidance on who to censor, but they were paying for it. My favorite component of the story is that, we're going to mention him again. Oliver Darcy, the media reporter for CNN, reported, no, the FBI didn't pay Twitter for censorship. What they were doing was reimbursing Twitter for the labor costs of
That's so nice.
fulfilling government requests. I'm like, this is what I talk about. When they're sitting there and you're like, Mr. FBI agent, is there a door on the front of the building? Oh, no, Twitter's a better. Mr. Dorsey, does the Twitter headquarters have a door? No, it doesn't. There's no door. No, there isn't. How do you get in? There's a portal. That's the game they play. So this is what they're doing right now. No, the FBI didn't pay Twitter. They reimbursed them for the labor costs of acquiescing to government requests. So they paid them? They gave them money?
This is the perfect way to understand that almost everyone is in an abusive relationship with their government. This is the perfect example of gaslighting, doublespeak, 1984 bull crap that they're just putting out there. And what do they think they're going to achieve here? I mean, obviously, more and more people are seeing the Twitter files. They're seeing the documents. They're seeing the evidence for themselves. They're listening to it. They're seeing it with their own eyes. And right now, the state is telling you, don't believe your own eyes. Don't believe your own ears. Don't believe your own mind. Believe us. That's the level we are at when it comes to the propaganda that we're dealing with. That's a very dangerous level for any state.
It's political Amber Heard.
Like, I gotta
Amber
know.
Heard, she's like, I didn't punch you. I just closed my fist and hit you.
Like what, Kyle, after you've experienced with the Kenosha experience, something that it probably less than 1/1,000,000,000% of humans have experienced stuff like that, or very, very few Americans have experienced. What's your perception of the government before and after?
And weren't the feds lying and keeping data away from your Kirk trial?
Let's talk about that for a second, though. So the FBI, they had aerial drone footage filming my trial. Not my trial. They probably were doing that too.
But the event that you were involved in.
The incident that happened, they were filming it with the aerial plane. And they had thermal imaging. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
And they gave us we knew it was out there. They refused. They had a guy come in that was operating the camera. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember this correctly. He was operating the camera, and then he was testifying. My attorney asked him, "What's the tail number on the plane?" Because we had it. And then the state's attorney comes up. Nope, we're objecting. Like, here's his TUI letter. Like, pulled him off. They refused to air it. I don't know if they aired it. They refused to air it, to my belief. They didn't want him to have his name out there, and he couldn't be on camera. And I was like, what is the government doing?
Yeah.
What is the FBI? His whole testimony was thrown out. The judge was like, okay, the jury has to, they can't use anything he said. And we didn't, they also had a drone video, and they gave us a decompressed version of that, while the state had the enhanced version.
I remember that, like, the enhancements was like a computer manipulation.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Like they
That's
were adding data to it.
And then we found out because the Portly lawyer, I believe it was, when he showed his desk.
Lunchbox?
Is that his name?
He had James Cross, 88 Cross.
Oh, he's got his pet
He had on
names.
his computer, he had the
Handbrake.
programs.
He had an app called Handbrake on his computer, which decompresses files and makes them all blurry like that.
It not decompresses, it compresses.
Compresses.
Right. So it goes from high resolution to low resolution,
Yep.
and then makes it hard to see what's going on.
So was this the state prosecutors denying the evidence, or was this the FBI? And
This
was the
was the
FBI
state-
trying to clear the record in order to exonerate you?
No, the FBI was not trying to clear the record to exonerate me. The FBI was after me. This was the state working with the FBI to try to pretty much throw me in prison the rest of my life.
But why?
Because that's what they
Because they're
do.
BLM supporters or something?
Symbolic. I think it would have been symbolic.
My guess, his guess
You
is
saw
that
the photo of the FBI agents taking the knee during the
Yeah,
Black
yeah,
Lives
yeah.
Matter
Yeah.
protest? That should tell you a lot.
It's a cult. They're a cult too.
Isn't there a photo of the director of the FBI with like a Biden mug out there somewhere? I thought I saw something. Is that the former FBI director?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this is the same year where we learned of all the how many FBI people were involved in the Whitmer.
Oh, yeah.
Kidnapping.
But all but 2 or something like
Right.
that. It bums me out because, in my mind growing up, the FBI was this quirky conspiracy theorist who believed that aliens existed, and then he'd reluctantly tell his boss, who then reluctantly would call in FBI teams to actually be forced to investigate crimes, and they never wanted to believe him. But then you realize the FBI actually forever, since J. Edgar Hoover, was just like a political weapon.
there's definitely a picture of Comey wearing a Biden-Harris shirt with a Biden-Harris mug, drinking coffee. I don't know if that's...
But he was out after, like he wasn't. He was
already out of office at this
Yeah,
point?
he got fired. But I mean, I think the crazy thing is what we're learning now with Trump is that while he was president, the FBI was engaging in these psychological operations, discrediting the Hunter Biden laptop story with Twitter and all that stuff. They're now lying about it. And the funnier thing is, guys, I mean, come on. The left keeps saying, yeah, but Donald Trump was in charge. He was the president. And it's like, not like they were listening to him, but at the very least, couldn't Trump have done something? I'm not gonna blame Trump for being the victim of this political malfeasance or whatever. But when you're the president, you gotta go through this stuff. He should have fired everybody right away. I understand the Russiagate stuff jammed him up and tied his hands and all that, and that was the intent. But Trump could have at least known what they were doing with social media. He should have known they were banning his biggest supporters and trying to affect the outcome. They're trying to affect him politically.
Did he say he was going to break up the FBI if elected again? Did
He should.
I'm all for that.
He should say that.
CIA,
scatter to the-
ATF,
That's what
IRS.
that's what JFK said
Yeah,
about the
scatter him to the
CIA.
wind, right?
And then,
And then
well, yeah, and that was
then-
also that's post Northwoods. Yeah.
Oh man,
Project Northwoods. If you don't know what Project Northwoods is, it's definitely something
So,
worth looking up
what
because
is
it's
it?
a great converation starter, especially with
Operation
family members.
Northwoods.
In 30
Operation Northwood,
seconds,
yeah.
what is it in 30 seconds?
False flags on American
Joint
citizens.
Chiefs of Staff is essentially planning a false flag on the United States in order to get us into a war with Cuba.
This is the problem I'm having is that domestic terrorism is good for business for the FBI and the CIA because it gives them something to do. So that it gives them a reason to hire more agents and to get more funding. Which
That's
is
why I keep thinking like
horrible
if we get rid of them, which I want to, those people will just be like terrorists roving the country.
But wouldn't we just have another secret police step up if we got rid of ours?
It's probably inevitable, but we have to start over again.
But
with these people.
the people need government. The idea of power coalescing just inherently means corruption forms. Corruption will happen, and then the people need to come out and say, okay, we're choosing now to shut the corruption down. It takes willpower. And then when you weed out that corruption, the American Revolution, for instance, they say to the king, no, we're done. And then they say we weed that out. We get the foundation of this country, and then a couple hundred years later, we now have very serious corruption in this country. It's going to take, in my opinion, fifth generational tactics, meaning influence building, shows like this, people watching, spreading the word to their friends. That's the path towards success right now. And when enough people come together and then say no more to this corruption, the system falters. And I think that's what we're witnessing right now with the exposure of all this. We're watching it crumble. This is the revolution. This is the populist uprising. In order for corruption to keep happening, you need the confidence of the people. The people need to fear you. They need to believe that if they speak out, they'll be hauled off to the gulag. But right now, we're starting to see a fifth generational version of that scene from V for Vendetta, where the inspector is saying, and then someone will do something stupid. And it shows the finger man with the badge shoot the little girl, and then all the people just go and just like start walking up to him like they don't care anymore. We're getting to the point where people are starting to feel more and more confident about their ability to survive while defying the machine. The machine has lost the ability to scare people. It's got it to a certain degree. We need more people to just say something as simple as this. I don't care what you have to say anymore. I'm going to do my thing. And we're watching that happen. And the end result, I think, is something very, very positive. When we talk about, the fourth turning, we're in the end stages, it's supposed to get crazy. This could be it. It may not be as bad as World War II or the Civil War or the American Revolution. It may just be that the economy gets bad. There's hyperinflation. Maybe the dollar tanks. We're arguing on Twitter because it's fifth generational. It's information war. So maybe all we have to do is shatter the confidence in these systems. And then eventually when someone comes knocking on your door saying, I have a warrant, you go, yeah, no one thinks your agency has any merit or anymore. So no one cares what you have to say. Like we're going to go to this court. This court has said your warrants are worthless. We just don't listen to you.
So I keep saying this is like we're in an existential renaissance. Like I see so many people who were in the matrix, you want to put it that way, who kind of woke up during COVID and they were like, whoa, they were not politically active at all. And now they're completely just out of it. They want to learn to grow their own food. They want to take their kids out of school, and I think that was completely out of their world 2 years ago.
Tim Robbins was red-pilled. I guess you call it the great red pilling of Tim Robbins. He says, I feel horrible about the way I demonized people that didn't get the vaccine.
That's commendable.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.